Legion of Superheroes number 6, written by Paul Levitz, art by Francis Portela. We left off last issue with, who even knows, man? It was like a weird hourly comic that I don't think really turned into much of anything. Hopefully not, at least. So this issue picks up with a bunch of the heroes. Specifically, there's, I think, Element Lad and Chemical Kid are there, and a couple of others. Sunspot, I guess his name is. I don't know. Regardless, they're on Earth. And there's a sea of fire, apparently, where I believe China was, because they have completely ruined this planet and everything is hell. So, apparently, because of their powers or whatever, they have cities that are still in this fire sea, and they use a catalytic converter to reduce the pollution, get the energy reclaimed, but some eruption of magma or whatever has caused it to go offline. So Chemical Kid needs to use his powers in there in order to restart the engine. So they go in there and he does it. And then that's that. That is literally the end of that story. So then we get, and I had to look this up because, again, none of these are re-given any name tags. We never get a reminder of their names. You just have to go back to issue 1 where like half of them were given. So we have Star Boy, I think, and Dream Girl. And they're just hanging out in the Legion headquarters, coordinating stuff. And they start making out real quick. And then Stargirl's like, all right, but Mon-El and Brainiac 5 are off planet, so I've got to do my work. That's the end of that arc. So then we get Dragonwing, who was one of the new Legionnaires. She tries to get into this person's apartment, and when the door opens up, a dog comes out and say hi for it, and she's looking for someone named Bao. But when she gets in, she sees a sigil for this red dragon, and she freaks out and lets out some fire breath or whatever her power is. The dog pisses inside, they straight up show it. Yeah, Brainiac 5 and Mon-El are both talking to the soldiers on that planet that they were on with the Daxamites. And they were trying to figure out what kind of telepathy forced them to do this sort of stuff. But this one dude shows up and he's like, no, this wasn't telepathy. This was entirely different. They were imprisoned or imprinted on by the Dominators. And so they think about that for a second. They're like, okay, well, why? Maybe we shouldn't have let the Dominators go. But regardless, sometimes we choose to do what's futile even when we know better. They kind of just say that line, and it doesn't really make any sense them bringing it up. Regardless, we go to a Dominator planet, I guess, and we get the rules of the Dominators, which basically just all boil down to you are nothing. There are people who are better than you, and you will throw yourself at their feet and hope for mercy if you ever fail. And so the Dominator, who I guess was in charge of that whole attack, shows up and he's like, Primus Dom, I have failed. Our fleet has been damaged. And so this big fat Dominator who's standing over everyone just says you're a disgrace. And he grabs the guy, claws his head and then eats him. That's the end of that. So we go back to the Dragonwing thing, and she's walking through the rain and she talks to someone looking for Bao, which it's her sister. Just straight up, it's her sister. But, apparently they were looking to the Blue Tiger for protection. So I guess it's rival clans of Red Dragon, Blue Tiger, or whatever. But it didn't go through. But then the dog gets the scent of her, I suppose, and starts running through the rain. Dragonwing gives chase. They open up a door, and it's someone who looks pretty closely identical to Dragonwing. But it's she looks more goth, and she has actual dragon wings. Legitimate dragon wings, and she's like, oh, this stupid dog, I should have killed it instead of leaving it for you, but I guess it's not too late for that. And then we see the dog isn't actually the dog, it's Chameleon Lad, boy, kid, and he stops Dragonwing's punch and was just because now you're part of the Legion, it's good that you work as a team with your fellow Legionnaires when you're doing stuff like this, Dragonwing. But then we see the Dragonwing has her own group with her inside the Red Dragon den, and they all come out to attack, but then Chameleon Kid turns into this uber huge dragon-sized, like, crazy beast. Dragon Wing lets off her own attack. It's just a little bit of a fight scene, just saying like, oh, okay. But then Dragon Wing finally gets the upper hand on her sister Bao, and was just like, now, big sister, I have a question for you. And then we just stop, and we go over to a group of people who I guess all exited this building, and someone who says, I am to be the Phoenix Fire of China's rebirth, and he's like just a dude on fire with a bunch of tattoos, just interrupts them and says like, oh, perhaps I may assist you. And that's it. That's where the issue ends. Strangely enough, I don't really know like where any of this stuff is coming from, and yet it is still the issue that has made the most sense to me. Like, this is just, it's so confusing for no reason. Like, I understand you feel the need with a whole bunch of characters to jump between them all and see like, what is this group doing? What is that group doing? What is this group doing? I get that. But man, you don't have to. You can just focus on one group for just one arc. Get me to know these characters. You gave me one page over the course of like all past 6 of these issues. You've given me one page in each issue focusing on Starboy and Dreamgirl, and I still had to look up their name before I started because they never ever say them. This is such poor storytelling, and I know it gets tiring me saying that, but I am tired of reading this. I'm going to give this a 3.5. Primarily just because this is the first one that has made any sense to me in any regard. Like, I am able to follow the bare bones of this one, but that is not saying a lot. Oh God, I am so frustrated with this book. I don't even know what I want it to be. I want it to be over. That's what I want it to be.